many of the conflicts that you have in your relationships in terms of your human identities are because you're interacting with each other, human construct, mental construct to mental construct, which is not the real, authentic self. It's a collection of beliefs, it's a collection of projections, it's a collection of psychological imprints based on past experience. That is dialoguing with the collection of the other person, and you never really get anywhere because the frequency doesn't change, the energetic doesn't change. So if you were wondering why sometimes you're frustrated in certain relationships, it's because you're interacting with each other on a frequency that doesn't allow for exploration or expansion. Instead, it just allows for a reinforcement of each other's belief system, which is likely out of alignment with source energy if you notice that the dominant energetic emotional tone underneath the dialogue is one of frustration or anger or resentment or guilt. And so what is required? What is required is that at least one of you rise above in your frequency and start asking different questions. Questions from your higher self, your soul self, your authentic self. Not questions from your human construct, which is often based on an energetic of fear or an energetic of trying to keep everything the same, to avoid change. That in itself is the energetic of fear. And so your interactions with each other will be much different. Now, what happens when one of you shifts into a higher frequency and the other one doesn't? When that occurs, what you'll notice is that there is a loss of magnetism between you, because the beliefs and the energetic emotional charges that we're seeking to be reinforced by this dialogue with the other person are no longer the dominant charge within you. And so there is no longer a need to keep that activated in your system. Instead, there's actually a desire to let it go and let it be released because you're tired of it. You don't want to keep those energies active in your system anymore. And so you get just tired of the dialogue. It becomes old and you're seeking something different. And in the moment, you may not know exactly what you're seeking. So we're here to tell you what you're seeking is the exploration of an entirely different frequency, because your soul is here to explore. And so you need to get comfortable with the fact that whether or not the person you are interacting with is comfortable going to a different frequency, your soul is calling you to a different frequency. And so if you want to experience that sense of connection and fulfillment that arises when you are in alignment with your soul, then you have no choice but to explore that higher frequency and let the other one that you are interacting with figure themselves out, and you release the need to fix, as we were talking about earlier. Know that whenever you have a desire to fix something, you are coming from your mental construct. And it usually has to do with this false idea that when you fix something, or when you have the ability to fix something, it reinforces your worthiness. It reinforces that identity that who I am is what I do, or who I am is what I can do. So sometimes this underlying need to fix, another way to describe that is the underlying need to prove oneself. Because again, inherent within your construct, there is still a false belief active that you are unworthy in some way or inadequate in some way. I need to prove that I am worthy. And so by fixing something that appears to be broken, emphasis on the word appears, by fixing something that appears to be broken, I elevate my identity into one who can fix, one who has the ability to fix. That has nothing to do with your true identity. Your true identity is worthy because it exists. You're worthy because you are a divine creation. There's nothing you need to be, do, or have in order to express or prove your worthiness. So it's interesting, isn't it, to witness within yourself all the various ways in which you try to compensate for that false belief that deep down there is something wrong with you. All you are doing when you are in these patterns of thoughts and patterns of taking action upon these false thoughts, all you are doing is seeking to run away, avoid certain emotional charges within your system. The most prominent one being shame. So in order to avoid feeling the energetic emotional charge of shame in your body, you seek to prove yourself. You think that is the antidote. It isn't the antidote. The antidote is to step back, take your seat as the observer of the contents of your consciousness, the observer of these mental constructs and the energetic emotional charges that accompany them. Take your seat as the witness and begin to witness, observe, explore, and always with a smile on your face, witness how the mind has been playing tricks on you. And so rather than getting down on yourself and adding to that cauldron of shame by criticizing yourself for the ways in which you have fallen for these false beliefs, instead you begin to witness them with a smile. That smile that you often see on the images of the Buddha's face, just a soft smile. You begin to witness these patterns, these thought patterns, these emotional patterns, and how they have controlled your actions. You begin to witness them with a smile, and you begin to say to yourself soft, gentle words such as, "Isn't that cute that I fell for that false belief and that I let it control my actions for a year, 5 years, 20 years, 40 years, 70 years. Isn't it cute? Isn't it funny that I did that?" No time has been lost in this exploration. The entire goal, if there is a goal, is to find your way back to yourself. And so if you get to the point where you have found your way back to yourself, that is a point in time worth celebrating. And so you should have a smile on your face in those moments. And you should celebrate. And you don't need to feel any regret or shame or awkwardness about any perceived time that has been lost. No time has been lost in this process. You are an eternal, infinite, unfolding being who is learning and experiencing and evolving and growing, and you will be doing so for eternity. What's the rush? You don't need to shame yourself because of another false belief that you have missed out or lost time Instead, celebrate the fact that you have found yourself. And many other beings, you can look around you. Many other beings will spend their entire lifetime and many lifetimes not coming to this realization and reconnection with their true self. And there's nothing wrong with that. They'll get there eventually, and they'll get there in their own time. And it is much like flowers blooming in a garden. You know that you can't go out to your garden and see a flower bud and force it open and have a beautiful flower as a result of that forcing. And you can't do the same with the beings that surround you. It's not up to you to force their awakening. Their awakening happens in divine timing. And you may not have any idea what that timing is. And that's okay. It's none of your business. Let other people explore their life experience, and you focus on exploring your life experience. And in doing so, there will be much less conflict because you won't feel the need for someone else to be doing something differently in order for you to feel better or for you to feel a certain way.